Should we bring back arranged marriages? Absolutely not, you say. American culture has found a much better way that allows all of us to find our own spouse. Yeah, and how has that been working out? Well, as the country comedian said, not too good. Now, while the divorce rate in America has dipped recently, it's still way too high, and it's been influenced by fewer marriages as more and more people just live together. And sadly, many of those first marriages are not the joy-producing partnerships God intended. As an older Christian, I've had the displeasure of watching many Christians marry non-Christians. I say displeasure because most of the time, the non-Christian leads the once faithful spouse away from God to other religions or into the world where their faith is consumed. Yes, there are some exceptions where the godly spouse leads his or her spouse to the Lord, but it is the exception, not the rule. So, should we revisit arranged marriages after all? Well, maybe not, because even those aren't always perfect. And we have a perfect example of an imperfect one in the arranged marriage of Isaac and Rebekah. After the death of Sarah, Abraham decided it was time for Isaac to get married. He was no longer a boy, but was compliant, as we noted recently, so seemed content to serve his mom and dad. But now that mom was dead, it was time for Isaac to step up and get married. Abraham was fully aware of the danger of marriage to an ungodly woman. Surrounded by pagans, he knew what would likely happen if Isaac married into their culture. He would probably be consumed by it. So Abraham sent a servant to his old home to look among family for an appropriate wife. Not exactly the idea of an arranged marriage where the parents agreed from birth and the two children were prepared for it by their family, but it was an arranged marriage nonetheless. When the servant arrived in Haran, he asked God to help him find the woman for Isaac, and God did. The first girl who arrived to draw water immediately offered to draw water for him and his camels. When the servant discovered she was related to Abraham, his excitement grew. He was invited to stay at her home and arranged a marriage between Isaac and Rebekah through her brother Laban. She was willing to leave home and family immediately and travel to a foreign land to marry this exotic tent-dwelling relative. The arrangement worked because when she got to her new home, they were compatible with one another and entered the marriage happily and joyfully. That's in Genesis 24, verses 62 through 67. But the marriage, like just about all others, had its rough patches. She had difficulty getting pregnant, and when she finally did, it was a difficult pregnancy with twin boys. The record reveals also that they've each picked a favorite that ended up in a conflict that drove the family apart for decades. But in the end, they were together in the end, as their son Jacob revealed they were buried together in Genesis 49, verse 31. Well, should we bring back arranged marriages? I don't know. But I do know I want you to come back tomorrow for another Morning Minutes in the Bible. Until then, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.